Alright, here's another iteration of my Whizzard deck. I've taken out the viruses. Parasite and Data Sucker are almost all gone now. So instead of using Data Suckers to complement my fixed and Breaker suite, I'm relying on Ice Cover. So it's in my hand right now. So I'm up against Next Design, and against this matchup, I'm very happy that I ditched the Data Suckers, because against Next Design, you are not going to get your Data Sucker rolling, even if you draw in your opening hand, because the Corp will ice up all servers, and chances are he's running low-cost ice, Eli's, Quandaries, and so on. So he'll be able to rest most of them, and even if he cannot rest them, I can only do so much, So even though I don't have a Data Sucker, it's still important to assert early aggression, which is why I've tested the waters with R&D and HQ. Now, there's one thing about Next Design. There's a subtle nuance that you wouldn't really think about unless you actually played this Next Design ID before, and that is when you install 3 pieces of ice from your opening hand and you draw 3 new cards, you're actually increasing the agenda density in your hand. So getting to HQ is a priority for me, and this is why I choose to assault HQ 3 times on my next turn, seeing that he did not secure HQ, thinking that it was safe with a Quandary on it. I abused this fact, and as a reward, I got myself 4 agenda points, and now he's in a horrible position. There is a Chinese saying that if you know your opponent and yourself very well, you will win all your battles. And this cannot be more true here. If you know the weaknesses of your opponents and how to deal with it, or how to exploit it for that matter, you are going to experience a lot of success. The 2 major weaknesses of Next Design are, firstly, as I pointed out, that HQ would tend to be flooded, as with Cerebral Imaging, and secondly, that Next Design tends to be very poor, because they have to spend so many cards in their deck on ice, which is not generating money. Their economic density won't be as high, and as you can see, after raising that toll booth, he's down to 0. He's dirt poor. Too bad I cannot take advantage of it. I guess I could make 1 R&D run, but spending 2 clicks to get through is not very worth it. So for this turn, after raising that toll booth, I get out. Thankfully, I don't lose the 3 credits because I'm on 2 credits, and I install the John Masanori. It's a questionable decision, but I choose to do so because next turn I plan on running R&D blindly. And Wizard's credits help me to trash the Ash, which I wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. So this is Wizard's ID coming to play. Very powerful. I was gambling that he wouldn't be able to rest the innermost piece of R&D ice, which I was correct on. He only had 3 credits. Him raising an Eli would be the worst case scenario, but I don't see anything. I don't see him doing that. One of the reasons is because on the opening turn, he did not rest the ice over R&D. So I have no idea what it is, but I doubt it's an Eli or a cheap ice such as Quandary. Then I try to run into the remote to draw a card. I could draw a card manually and remove the risk of running into an undesirable ice, but the reason I do this is the same reason why you play Bank Job in Criminal. You want information. Running into that server allows me to gain information if he chooses to rest that piece of ice, so I can deal with it if he chooses to sneak an agenda into it. Alright, so he retrieves the Ash with Archive Memories. Very interesting choice. And he chooses to replace the ice on that server. Knowing that it's pretty porous. I don't think he expected that play from me, running into a remote with no cards inside it, just to trigger John Masanori. But yes, doing so allows me to gain information if he chooses to rest the ice, and keep him low on credits. But now he's surmounting in the credit lead. He has been steadily clicking for credits the past few turns, so good for him. He's now on a healthy 10 credits, enough to rest the toll booth to keep me at bay. I run into Archives because he has quite a few face down cards in Archives. I wanted to make sure that nothing sneaky was going on. And since this was a card he installed on the first turn of the game, I doubt it would be too strong a piece of ice. With Ice Cover and my entire Anarch Breaker suite out, there's very little that can stop Sand in my way, save for a Heimdall or a Toll Booth, which he already showed me that includes in his deck. So I continue making money by making runs on archives, all while achieving click compression with John Masanori, which allowed me to draw into my Armitage code busting. That is pretty huge, because for the first time in this game, I finally have a source of money. Have you noticed I haven't played a single money card this turn, aside from 30 Laundry, but that came so late that it doesn't count. Finally, I'm able to get a steady stream of income with Armitage, and I run through archives again. Force him to rest the ice. If he doesn't, I get a free card, equivalent to drawing a card. And yes, this is where all my money is in the middle of my deck. I finally find my sure gamble. In the meantime, he scored an accelerated beta test, and the biggest mistake he made was putting the Victor on the remote. He wanted to try to rush Agendas out, presumably because he has a lot in hand. What I do is to siege his weaker server, R&D. Yes, he didn't protect R&D sufficiently, and now I'm going all out and making sure that he cannot end the game before I do. Because if he doesn't protect R&D next turn, he is going to be in a world of hurt. I cannot score the NAPD, but I can score the priority rec, and that puts me over the top to win the game. Alright, so finally, a rather convincing win by my Whizzard deck. Although that being said, he does admit that his corp deck has some shortcomings, most notably that he was completely reliant on Orange Mining Corp for his income, and that clearly isn't going to work out because you only have 3 of them in your deck, and any runner who can get into remote servers early through inside job, parasites, or whatever will completely nullify your economy, and account siphon makes things worse. So yes, he definitely needed some other form of economy, maybe more Adonises and Eve campaigns, or maybe just go with event economy instead. Although with next design, I believe you should go for asset economy because that's the advantage you have, a secure remote at the start of the game. As for my play, I think I played pretty well this game. A very refreshing change from all the previous Whizzard trials, but I still have lots of room for improvement. I'm not sure if I made the correct decision at the start of the game to keep this hand. I could have mulliganed it because there were no economic cards in there. It is very risky to start with a hand like this, even with Diesel, which allows you to see more cards. If you don't see your Katie Jones, your Armitage early on, which happened to me, I would be in a pretty bad position had it not been for the fact that he was also struggling with his economy. If he was a fast NBN or Wayland with lots of event economy, and he was able to solidify his servers quickly, I wouldn't be able to get so many accesses that early on. Certainly not 4 agenda points from HQ, and yeah, the game would have changed drastically. Well, that's it for this. Thanks for watching. Happy net running yourself. Goodbye.